Hi guys, hey, we're out here at Celebration today and we're looking at the Inkee Falcon Plus handheld gimbal for the GoPro. Now, a lot of people ask me, Dale, what do you need a gimbal for with today's GoPro superior image stabilization? You know, that's a really excellent question. But when you want to get some really creative shots and really make that thing as smooth as possible, this is the way to go. I have the media mod mounted and I'm actually using the external microphone and hopefully that's all good. And we're also shooting with the anamorphic Skyrete lens and I want to get some more footage doing that. I had other plans today, but circumstances kind of curtailed that. So I'll do that next week. But anyway, hey, enjoy some of the footage here, guys. This is going to be really cool. And we'll be back in a bit. Hi guys, we've been walking around for a while here using the Inkee Falcon Pro gimbal, and I'm using it with the GoPro Hero 10 with the media mod. So that's really a cool thing. Now I'm using strictly the media mod audio today. I'm not using any external audio, and I want to briefly give you a little bit of things that kind of annoy me a little bit with the Falcon Pro, and one of them is the record button is on the side. And it's probably just that I can't get used to it. I'm used to having the record button right in front of me, and this one is on the left side. Not a big deal, but it is kind of annoying. I think I'll probably get used to it, but we'll see. So anyway, hey, we're going to continue our walk out here and see what we can see. Getting used to this side record button is a little bit aggravating. If you hold it in your right hand, now if I switch over to my left hand, then it's really not an issue. I can use my index finger to hit the record button on the left hand side, but it is kind of a nuisance having it on the side, but I guess I'll get used to it eventually. Now, using the joystick, you got to be careful. It is, if you use a lot of pressure on the joystick, it's going to move extremely fast. So here's what I do if I hit it hard. Watch what happens. You see how fast that is? Now, if I just do it gingerly, I can get some pretty good fluid motion right there. So I'm pretty pleased with that. But again, it's just getting used to the gimbal itself. With this setup, guys, you can really get some great B-roll and have that gimbal just, I mean, I'm dropping it down and it's keeping that horizon lock all the way down here. And you can add a selfie stick to this. Now, mine came with a really excellent selfie stick. I didn't bring it today, but I will be using it in future videos. Like I said, guys, you can get some excellent B-roll using this gimbal system. Well, guys, we're back from our little field trip testing out the Inkee Falcon Plus gimbal. You know, I'm kind of undecided on this, guys. I don't know if it meets. Now, if I'm only going to do an action camera gimbal, then this definitely meets the requirement. And that's all they say that it's for. This is strictly for action camera. This is an action camera gimbal. It does have a couple of weird things going on that I don't really care for. Let me shut this off. One of the things is, everybody knows if you're shooting 5.3K on a GoPro 10, it eats up the battery quick. Now, one of the bad things is you can't use the standard thumb screw system for your mount. And the reason being is because the cutout on the media mod is on the other side. And you can't flip this thing around to accommodate that. So you have to use this machine screw that they supply. Now, what's the drawback in that? Well, if you're out in the field and you're walking around and you're doing your thing, and then the battery says 30%, 15%, whatever, it's time to switch out the battery. if you don't bring this Allen key with you, and that happened to me on this field trip, I had the extra battery in my pocket, but I didn't bring that in my pocket. So there was no way to take that screw out and switch out the battery, cutting my field trip a little short. Angered me a little bit, yeah, but it's my fault. I didn't do it. I should have known better. But you want to be able, on the gimbal that you're playing with, to be able to change batteries in your cameras and stuff like that without any special tools. And I would have had to have had this, and I don't call it a special tool, it's a standard Allen wrench, but I shouldn't have to have this in my pocket. I should be able to just go bing, 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 take it off, change the batteries out and go. So, but that was one of the drawbacks. This thing comes in at about $130. The M2 is its rival. It comes in at about $180, and it will also handle the media mod. I think the M2 is a better gimbal, more versatile gimbal. This is strictly basically. They don't say that, but this is basically for GoPros. If you have the GoPro style blade mounts on the bottom, then you can mount it to this gimbal. If you don't, you can't. I mean, that's just the bottom line. So that's something to think about when you're looking at this, but does it function well? Absolutely. It functioned great. I only have one problem with one of its functions, and that's the selfie mode. So if you go into selfie mode, for instance, guys, let me show you this. You hit the trigger right here 3 times, and it'll bring it around. Now notice that the angle of the camera, it's that way. It's not straight up and down. It's angled down. I don't understand why they did it that way. I have no clue. And to put it back, you just double click it and it'll go back into its former state. Now the balancing on this thing is really not an issue here, guys. You have 2 adjustment screws, one on the side here and then one in the back here. You do this one time, you never have to do it again. I mean, it was a cinch to do. Whereas, a lot of other gimbals, it's a balancing nightmare. So if you don't want to go through a nightmare, you're only going to use this for GoPro style camera that has a GoPro mount system, then this is a good deal. It works really great. It does function. It does do what it's supposed to do. I don't like the side button, record button. I want it in front of me. That was a real annoyance when I was out there, as I kept hitting the power button to start record, and it would shut the gimbal off, and then I got annoyed. And it's on the side. You can go through the modes here for photo and time lapse. It does sync with your GoPro, so when you turn your gimbal on, it also turns your GoPro on. Really a cool feature. It's really cool. It has a lot of cool features, but it didn't knock it out of the park for me. If you're looking for a small, compact gimbal that'll work with your GoPro system, I recommend this wholeheartedly. It really works well. But if you want to swap out different cameras, I mean lightweight, so super point and shoot type stuff, I wouldn't recommend this because it won't fit. I'd recommend the M2 or the M3. So, well, that's my overview of the Falcon Plus, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you on the next one.